Hello everyone, this is Reg at PAX Area Gaming. Welcome to episode 2, or part 2 of Nightreign. We will be taking on the Gaping Jaw. Just for full disclosure, I've actually fought this particular expedition multiple times. Probably like 8 or 9 times. Each time leading to failure. Sometimes before we got to the final boss, and sometimes at the final boss. As a noob, you know, sometimes when you're playing with these other folks, they sort of know the map better than you, and they sort of take off running in a particular direction without letting you know where they're going. So you get a little bit lost. I've worked with a couple of the teams, I guess, that don't do that. They sort of recognize that you're falling behind, and they sort of stop and lead the way. So if you get that kind of a team, you usually do okay. If you don't, then just head to the nearest pin that you see. If they drop one, they usually do. I probably have died the most times in day 2. I've only made it to the boss in day 3, maybe 3 times. But this one has definitely been a struggle. Okay, so these guys already started off really smart by going to the first area where you can increase the number of flasks that you have. So clearly they've done this before. They're being very strategic. The other thing I noticed that they tended to do was to make sure you leveled up pretty quickly. They also give you a little bit of time to actually scope out what loot you might find. You don't have a lot of time, so that's the one thing about Nightreign that's very different from other games, is that you don't have time to really sort of think a lot about, well, should I use this weapon or that weapon? You go with the highest damage output, or something that may have a some kind of an effect. And a big shout out to Luisifer and Rex. Luisifer is the Executor, and Rex is the Guardian. They're both very good. Very efficient. This particular path that they've chosen to take is very efficient. And no matter what you do or how fast you sort of go through some of these areas, you're going to miss some loot. So the game is really generous with loot, but you don't actually get a chance to sort of explore all of it. For this boss, I'm looking for something that either has poison, scarlet rot, frost, something along those lines. He's supposed to be very weak to poison. At least that's what the little symbol indicates when you look at the expedition, when you start at the start of the expedition. So the smarter move would be to try to make sure you have something in your arsenal that does that kind of damage. As Ironeye, the other thing I need to do, which I wasn't really doing in the previous runs on this particular expedition, is getting close enough to actually mark the Night Baron. I think his name is Adel the Night Baron. I wasn't able to, speaking of Abel, I wasn't able to mark him, or I didn't mark him. he's very intimidating, so I just sort of stayed away from him and tried to shoot him with my arrows. But the reality is, if you mark them, your weapon and your allies' weapons do more damage. So you can make the fight a lot simpler by making sure that the enemy remains marked at all times. I think that's the whole idea of when you apply mark, you also dodge. And in other runs, I noticed that the people I play with would just leave these guys alive. You know, but they're basically hinting at anything you see that's moving, you should kill. There's more runes, which means more XP, which means more levels. The max level in the game is 15. If you go into a boss fight above level 10, you should be able to succeed in fighting the boss. The Nightfarer boss. Or the Night Lord boss. If you're below that, you'll probably struggle. But like I said, these two people that I'm playing with, Rex and Luisifer, did really, really, really good. They know how to use their skills. He rarely died. We didn't have any defeats. I think we each died once or twice. I think in the last part of the final boss battle, I died a few times. Here's another flask upgrade while the day is closing in on us. The other thing is they're always aware of where we are, which is pretty good. In other runs, I've done that. We get really close to where the day is closing in, and these guys sort of take off in all different directions, and you just end up like, whoa, what am I supposed to do? You end up dying. So now, if I see the day approaching, the night approaching, I'll just run in the other direction no matter what, because I'm assuming that they'll eventually end up there. This is basically more runes, right? None of these enemies are really harmful to us. But I noticed that that Luisifer was, you know, out here hacking these things. Rex is already gone. So I'm following Luisifer for the moment. But I always keep my eyes locked on one of two of them so I don't get lost. I've semi-figured out the map. I think the most difficult element of the map for me is the crater, which we are not going to do in this run. But in other runs, and you get really good loot from the crater, so I understand why people would go there. Totally understand it. The problem is it's very easy to get lost because it's very vertical. And they're closed off sections, so if you sort of get turned around, you really do struggle to figure out, okay, where are my allies? You can semi-see them on the map, but you really can't tell what level they're on, whether they're below or whether they're above, whether they're down near the magma or whether they're up top somewhere. Like I said, this is fairly efficient. In this little section, there are multiple of these guys throwing these fire pots at us. Yeah, I died because I was looking too long at a bow and trying to decide whether or not it's what I need or it's better than what I have. You sort of always want to go with the better weapon. And they sort of protect each other, the guys who are tossing these things, so you have to be strategic in how you take them out. So one of my allies is poisoning this guy. So the damage output is pretty high, so it doesn't take long to kill any of them. The Guardian is going ham on them, as is the Executor. I probably shouldn't have picked that one. Improved stance. I don't need that. I probably should have gone with something else, but I never leave anything. Even if all three of the items that you might get look like they aren't going to be helpful for my character, I pick one. It can't hurt to pick one. I don't just leave them. There are clearly some that are really germane to Ironeye. Others may be to these other characters. Or other classes, I guess. I always take a smithing stone if I see it. Okay, I think they're trying to hint. I'm missing the hints. Oh, there's another one of those fire tossing guys out there. Alright, Guardian is out there fighting with him, so let's go help him. Well, let's help him strategically. May as well kill these guys, since again it's runes and XP. Okay, now let's go out and fight the big guy who is probably pretty close to dead now. Yep. Okay, this is a better bow. Okay, I think this is the final one of these fire tossing guys up here. Whoa. Yeah, I was attempting to mark him, but I don't know whether I got the mark off. I did. Okay, cool. Now I can use my ultimate. Alright. Warming stones is another good thing to get. Well, I'm finding a lot of bows in this particular run, which is pretty interesting. You know, I've had other runs where I found one bow and end up still using the starting one that I use. Ironeye's starting bow is actually a pretty good one to use. So I don't, you know, if I find one that's better, then I'll use it. But if it's equal to it, then I'll just stick with Ironeye. Ironeye's bow. If one shoots a little faster, I'll go with that one. Alright, Guardian's already taken care of whatever was over there. I love the music. Okay, let's follow him. We're probably getting closer to the end of day one. Yeah, these guys are pretty brave because they're outside of the the ring, and they're fighting, gaining more runes. At least Guardian is. I usually stay in. If I'm going to go out, it's usually once the day ends and you get this little period before the new day starts where you can actually run through. You're not really going to die because the new day happens. I mean, you want to make sure you have enough health. I'm at level 8 and this is day 1. That's pretty good. This is probably the fastest I've ever leveled. I haven't lost a level yet, but I'm pretty sure I'll lose one before this is all over with, because that usually happens to me as well. Okay, so this is the day 1 boss for us. So I'm trying to be more efficient with marking him, so he's marked. I don't know whether that hit him at all, but the other thing I need to do is some of the bows you can find loot that will help avoid the drop off from your arrows. I don't have that at this point. I have to look for it in the future whenever I do another Ironeye run, because if you're far enough away, you're not really doing any damage. So 2 things. You have to make sure he's marked. This is from Ironeye's perspective. I guess from Guardian and from Executor, it's a little different. Obviously, it's different. I've played as the Executor a couple of times, actually. So I have another mark on him. And I can mark him again, but I'll wait for this mark to expire so I won't waste it. I don't think they overlap, but it may actually extend the length of the mark if I had done it. Okay, the mark is gone, so I need to do it again. And this gargoyle is hopping all over the place, making it very difficult. There we go. Go. He hits very hard, but I think he's going to end up dead anyway. Yep. So day 1 is done. Yeah, I don't really think any of these enemies are going to just suddenly drop dead, but I'll try it anyway. Okay, up to level 9. And we can move on. See, this saves time as well. If the day is done, then you may as well just go ahead and move on. I was going to say you probably are going to come to a site of grace anyway, but that may not necessarily be true. We got one of these misbegottens. I really should mark them, but you seem to be doing a lot of damage anyway. Yep, so that was quick. That was mostly Guardian. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to take the pulley crossbow. That one looks nice. I think I may have gotten it one other time. I have all these bows. I should only have the one in the left hand if it's adding an attribute. Or has a skill. I don't know why I did that, but that's the whole goal. So if you pick up something, you can hold it in your left hand, and that will provide the ailment effect. Yeah, boiled crab is always good, and warming stones are always good. Another bow. Wow. See, I wasted 3 seconds trying to decide, should I pick that one up? The thing is, I wonder if you can sell loot to this guy. I don't know whether you can or not. I mean, typically if you hold on to something, it's something you want to use or you want to keep, because you find so much loot, and you're only able to carry so much. So if you pick something up, you lose something if you're already maxed out on all of your armament. Okay, here's another flask upgrade. I believe this is our third one. Another warming stone. I think I've only ever had 3. This may be the second time I've hit 3 of these in a run. Certainly never this early in a run. This is still early in day 2. There's Guardian kicking ass. Yeah, I like this bow. It's a little slow. Oh. What's this one? Where is this guy? By the time I find, well, I was going to say by the time I find him, the enemy will be dead. And he is. All right. Oh, well, there's that. I don't know what weapon he might have left behind, but I'm not going to run back to find out. That's how I usually get lost. Oh, okay, I can find it here. Okay, that's where he was. All right. The other thing at these, when you're fighting these field boss type guys, sometimes you can get select runes as your prize. Sometimes that's good because you may be able to eke out another level. Sometimes. Okay. Got an Everjail.
There is no escape for
my god. The Fell Omen guy is back. Jeez, he's a pain in the ass. Alright, I'll let one of these guys focus on him. Alright, so we're down to one of these knights who has very little health. Okay, so he's done. Now we can focus on the Fell Omen. And he's marked one of the guys, and so he will tend to focus only on the guy who's marked, which means you can get a lot of free damage in. It was stupid for me to try to mark him at that point. But I did get the mark on him. And I'm trying to revive. There we go. That's one of the benefits of the bow, is from a distance you can actually revive your ally. Alright, someone put poison on the guy. I need to... No, he's still marked. Right. All right. Nice. That gets me to level 10. So from this point on, any other levels I get would be nice. I'm probably not going to make it to level 15 before we get to the final boss. There's a tree sentinel, which might get me another level. I told you Rex is a beast. My ultimate is ready. There we go. Nice. Second great enemy. Improved thrusting counterattack is what I should have chosen. Oh, I did. Okay. There's, the damage you do with an arrow is thrusting damage. Each time I go on a run, I learn a little bit more. I've done some solo ones to try to figure things out as well. Another Everjail. Alright, we have the mark on him. See, these guys are smart. They're doing the Everjails. They're taking on these great enemies, which gets you better loot and more runes. And Guardian is so good that these enemies really go down pretty quickly. I mean, it's amazing how fast. I've never defeated enemies this fast. Okay, I'm at level 12. We might get one more level. Let's see. We might get one more level, maybe two. Before the expedition boss. See, the only reason to kill these things is to get runes for leveling up. I mean, they're non-hostile. I mean, you run past them and they spew poison, but they're not really going to attack you. But if you run past them and you gain runes, then that's valuable. Another quick one. Wow. I chose Raise Poise, although I'm not really a melee character, so I probably shouldn't have picked that one. I never feel like I have enough time to sort of look at all of the options and sort of like, which one should I get? You don't really have time to ruminate over that. Although the way these guys play, I probably had more time than I thought. Okay, we see the circle closing a little bit. Oops, I ran into the knight, which is never a good thing. Need to do a little healing here. I don't know who the main boss is going to be in this one. We'll find out. These the little ones, they swarm you, but there are not a lot of them. Okay. Yeah, I need to take that kick thing off. That's annoying because I know I'm gonna hit that by accident. See, this is brave. Clearly, these guys have been playing for a while because one, he runs out. Who's out there? Is it Rex? Or is it the Executor? So he's out there gaining more runes. Which I guess is good because whatever you get from that one plus this final field boss, when you level up. Oh my god, the ancient dragon. They're so annoying. need to do a better job of keeping him marked, which I'm not at the moment, because he keeps freaking leaping around like that. Yeah, like oops. Especially with bosses, you want to make sure you keep them marked the whole time. Whoa. And you want to avoid the lightning. And he's going to dive bomb me. Yep. Making it impossible for me to put a mark on him. Okay. Okay, I got one on him. Let's see if I can not die. Nope. All right. No worries. Watch your tail. Yeah, with these larger enemies, it's probably better to stay under them or behind them. And if I had a sword, I would have been trying to cut his tail off for a weapon, but I don't know whether I can shoot it off with an arrow. I'm about to die again. Yep. Okay, I was a little careless there. The idea is to stay under him or behind him, but stay away from his front lights. Now he's just got me panicking all over the place, but he's almost dead. And I didn't need to use my ultimate because he had already died, but okay. All of those were pretty good, actually. Okay. So now we prepare for the final boss, or the Night Lord, by going into this strange jelly thing. Okay, so I'm going to end up at level 13, which is okay. I didn't upgrade anything. If I was going to purchase anything, it would have been more warming stones or something along those lines. Luisifer is back there, probably upgrading a weapon or buying something. Well, the reload is a little slower. Don't ask me why I have a shield. I'm probably never going to use it, although it looks like I probably should. Like I said, this boss is, for me at least, was very difficult. I've seen other people play and they look like they handled it just well. You know, trying to get a mark on him is very difficult because he just moves around a lot and you're half of the time trying to avoid his mouth. And in the later part, you're trying to avoid the lightning streaks that are running across the ground, the little earthquakes that he caused. But I'm guessing Rex will be the general in this particular little battle. Which makes me think maybe I should try a Guardian run. I have not done that. All right, here we go. The other thing I need to learn how to do is to block, which you can do. And my understanding is blocking in this game negates all physical damage. It will not negate non-physical damage, but physical damage it will. The good thing is I got a mark on him early. He's got a huge health bar. And I guess I should roll towards his mouth when he does that. I've been not successful trying to roll away from it. You can stay out of the range of... Well, okay, well, that was stupid. I was trying to heal in my little warming stone thing and he came and snagged me. I need to get another mark on him to increase the damage output. I should do it now while he's spewing that poison stuff. Come on. Okay, I think I missed. This you need to run away from. I think the first time I ever fought him, I was like, what the hell is he doing? And then he ended up killing me with that. Like Luisifer there. But we can... Okay. Rex took care of it. I was going to say, we can revive him from a distance. Whoa. See, when that lightning's on the ground, the best way to escape it is to jump up. So I'm probably going to die a few times in this run. But hopefully the whole team won't die. Because that's happened to me before. Where you finally get to this part. Okay, so he should aggro on the guy who's got the mark on him. Okay, get a critical hit. Make sure I got another mark on him. Jump. See, Rex is right in there, and he's just a beast. He's just in there, just like fearless. Yeah, I'm hopping all around the place. I'm far enough away, but I'm not sure. This is the closest to death that I've ever seen him in one of my runs. I need to get another mark on him. That was dumb on my part. That was dumb too. I tried to dodge mark him and failed. So when he's running at you with his mouth open like that, I really should dodge mark. I think that's what I'm supposed to do, but I missed the mark on that one. Jump. Oh well. Okay, now I hope Rex and Luisifer don't try to revive me, but instead go ahead and kill him. Because I think sometimes trying to get over to revive a teammate, it can be deadly. He's trying to use one of his explosion things to wake me up. But I'm too far gone. All three of the segments of the little circle, he should try to revive Luisifer because he'll be easier to revive. Ah, no. See, he should really do the other guy. I don't want him to die trying to revive us. If Adel, the Baron of the Night, is as low health as he is, I wish he'd just go ahead and fight him. I think I called him Abel earlier. It's Adel. I don't know how he got the title Baron, but, I guess he's in the royal family somehow. Rex is holding his own, but I don't want him to run toward me. Looks like he's trying to get... I can't see any damage that he's doing. And he's marked, which means Adel is going to be very aggressive towards him. Okay, the mark is off. Don't try to revive me. Okay, he's running away from the blast, the AoE. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't think it's worth trying to revive either of us. He could revive the other guy though. Like I said, he's not as far gone as I am. He's about to be though. He's got 2 segments now. One segment. He just needs one more hit. He just needed one more hit. But now he's back to needing more than one more hit. So I would say let it go. He's trying. Give him a valiant effort. Okay, he's almost got him back. Now he's marked again, so, yep. He must have a shit ton of health because he keeps getting hit and he just doesn't die. He did the dive bomb thing. That got me up. Probably for about 3 seconds. Got the other guy up. Is he dead? Oh. That's crazy. Alright, finally got us up and I die again. Alright. Like 5 deaths in this run. But he's, I think Adel is dead, yeah. Oh my god. Thank God. Jesus Christ. This is like days in the making to fight this one Night Lord. And when I look at lists of ranked Night Lords, he's not ranked at the top. So I can only imagine what the other ones would be like. But anyway, we look at our rewards.
Champion, a moment, please. I have installed a dressing room next to the study. If you have other garments you would
Thank you, Giles.
Done, it is yours to use as you will.
I don't know where we get other garments from, but I'll visit that in the next episode.
How are you faring today?
At the start of the next episode, I'll go to the dressing room and see what's in there.
Is there anything at all that you require?
Maybe once you get beyond the second expedition, you actually, some of your loot will actually be different armor. I'm not sure. Taking a look at whether we have anything that we can switch out. That was a really good run, even though I died like 5 times in the final fight. But shout out to Rex the Guardian. He was awesome during this fight. And Luisifer the Executor was also pretty good. I mean, both of these guys made it really efficient. They knew where to go, where to get those extra charges for your flasks. They didn't run past every single enemy. The idea was to fight them, get the runes, so that you can level up, which was helpful. I didn't make it to level 15. I probably should have. In our next expedition, we'll be taking on the Sentient Pest. He's the next Night Lord. But I'm going to savor this one for a little while because it took me so long. This was a stopping point in the game, but it allowed me to get some practice in. I did a couple of solo runs just to practice and sort of see where things were. But at least now, with the second expedition, second Night Lord down, I can sort of progress a little bit. I will be starting Wuchang Fallen Feathers sometime this week. I believe the game comes out on 24th, but I will finish this one as well. So you may be seeing 2 different downloads of 2 different games on my channel. In any case, thank you for joining me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Take good care, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.